Hello again, sports bettors. This is Jeff Makinen at DRF Sports. Today I will be looking at the Thursday night matchup between the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans. It's a battle for first place in the AFC South division, and it will kick off week 12 of the NFL season. I will be utilizing, per usual, the DRF Sports matchup tool, which is included as part of your DRF subscription. The DRF Sports matchup tool gives you all the latest matchups and betting lines, along with betting angles and analysis of line movements and betting trends. It also provides you with the most accurate game simulator available anywhere. Log in at sports.drf.com today and let's start winning. Looking at this game, the Indianapolis Colts and Houston Texans, Houston did open up as a 5.5 point favorite. The line has dropped significantly to 3.5. Over under has dropped from 46.5 to the current current number of 45. From a rating standpoint, estimate number one of our game simulator projects Houston to win 22-21. That is a 1 point differential. Estimate number two calls for 25-22 Houston victory, and the power line is looking for Houston to be a 4 point favorite. So overall, this would give you a line of slightly under 3 if you average them together. Over under would be 45, so the over under seems to be right on. There is just a tiny bit of line value to Indianapolis. These two teams are battling it out for the AFC South lead. They're pretty evenly matched statistically. Point differentials roughly the same. Statistically, both gain nearly the same amount of yards as they allow, maybe slightly more gain for both these teams. But overall, not a heck of a lot of difference between the two. Into our betting angles, there are some rather strong ones that pop up. Houston continues to have problems playing against a team with a winning record in the second half of the year. Over the last 3 seasons now, after last week's crushing at Baltimore, Houston is now 0-7 in those spots with an average loss of 31-10. Meanwhile, the Colts, on the other hand, are 7-1 versus winning teams under Frank Wright. So if they're playing a team with a winning record, they've actually done quite well. And actually, one more, Bill O'Brien, building on that Houston struggle against winning teams, is 5-13 against the spread in the second half of the year as coach of Houston. Under the trends favoring Houston, the angles favoring Houston, there is a situation here that is relatively strong, favoring the Texans. Bet on favorites, revenging a close loss by 7 or less to an opponent off a road loss. Houston lost to Indianapolis in Indianapolis just a few weeks ago by 7, and they are off that road humiliating loss to Baltimore last week. Now, if you had bet this over the last 10 seasons, you would be 46-15 against the spread. So it's a pretty powerful betting system favoring the Texans. Analyzing the line movements, 57% of the betting public is favoring the Texans in this game. Despite that, the line has dropped significantly from 5.5 to 3.5, indicating some potential sharp action on the Colts. 83% is favoring the over in this game, again, against what the line has, or the over-under has moved. In this case, there could be some potential sharp action favoring the under. Under key injuries, last week in the video referencing the Texans-Ravens game, I did mention that with J.J. Watt missing, that you may be able to see that effect in a game against a strong team like the Ravens. The same might be the case here. Watt will be out again with a pectoral injury for the rest of the season, and against these good teams, you may see that be a little more important. Houston did lose that game to Baltimore last week, 41-7. Game was never even close. They were just a 3.5 point underdog, so quite a mismatch there. India is coming in off a 33-13 win over division rival Jacksonville, a home game. Another final thing to point out here, this series has traditionally been dominated by the Colts. They are 28-8 straight up, going back to since 1992. Actually, that would date back to the beginning of the Texans franchise, somewhere in the late 90s. 13-5 overall at Houston, including 3 consecutive wins at Houston. Looking at this game overall, I would take the Colts plus the 3.5. I think they are the value play here. Should be a close game, but I would side with the underdog. Thanks again for watching. This is Jeff Makinen at DRF Sports, Twitter handle at SportsDBExpert. Best of luck, and let's get on board and start winning this weekend.